how did the Grand Canyon come to be made? How was it made? So this is the story they would tell them. A long, long time ago, there was a big, strong, brave named Umba. Umba was his name. And he was in love with a very beautiful maiden. Her name was Yali. And they lived happily together on the plateaus that they call the plateaus, the mountains lying down, because they had no peaks. One day, the wind god, his name was Tovats. He was really in love with Yali too. Well, he decided he would steal her from Umba. He gathered her up in his wind and he carried her to the sundown country. The sundown country where the sun goes down. This is where the Paiute relatives go when they die. It's a place of great beauty and comfort. The clouds are pink and blue and pastels. It's very nice there with green grass and birds and many beautiful things. So he took Yali there to the gods of the wind, to the sundown country. Well, Umba was very sad, right? So he cried. He moaned. He was so loud that he was louder than thunder. Well, the thunder god got very angry at this. The people can't hear my thunder, Umba, because you're moaning and you're crying so loud. So I'll make a deal with you. I'll take you and we'll rescue Yali if you'll stop crying. He said, okay, it's a deal. But we must not let anybody see us doing this. So, the thunder beam created a big ditch through the ground so they could go down deep into the ground and find their way to the sundown country and not be seen by anybody. This big ditch is what we call the Grand Canyon. Well, sure enough, they made their way to the wind, where the winds of the west were, in the sundown country. They found Yali, and she was very unhappy. And so were the winds of the west. They were very unhappy because what did she do? She didn't do anything but cry. And they thought, well, she's just, we don't like this. So they made a deal. They said, we will give you back Yali if you will not tell anybody what you saw here in this beautiful place called the Sundown Country. So they did. They took Yali back. But they had to go back through that big ditch again so nobody would see them. But this time, there was thunder and rain and dark clouds everywhere. It was very scary. And they were down there by themselves. And every time the lightning would flash, they'd see these huge walls of rock. They didn't think they'd ever get out of there. They didn't know their way. Meanwhile, the sun was up here. And he was looking down and wondering why his rays of sun could not get into that canyon because of all those clouds. So what did he do? He came down into the canyon. The sun, can you imagine, sun coming down into the canyon? But he was very red, a red sun. He was very red with anger because there were so many clouds. And he saw Umba and Yali, and they were huddled together. They were hugging each other. They were very scared. He took pity upon them. So he did a very nice thing for them. He threw down a path made of rainbow for them to follow. And so they followed that path made of rainbow, and they got back to their homelands of the mountains lying down, the Kayabab Mountains. And they lived happily ever after there. And that's how the Grand Canyon got its name.